Hello, lovelies. How are you? I know it's been a while. I know. I'll explain to you what's been going on. I still have this cough from 2 years ago, if you can believe that. So, um, if you hear me cough, don't run away from your computer. I'm fine. It's just something that hung on all this time from when I had the cough thingamajigger going on. So I know that this was a short notice. Um, and I've been very, very busy. We had just about this time last month, we had a hellacious storm come through, and I don't even know if I spoke to you guys since then, but it peeled back a lot of the roofing material on our roof, and we were having torrential rain during that storm, and just about half of the southwest side of my house with a lot of water damage. So for these last few weeks, um, we've been working with contractors. They had to tear the walls out, tear the ceilings out. We're on phase one. It's so bad. It's three phases. So phase one was my walk-in closet in my bedroom. Hi, Carol. My bedroom, my bathroom closet. So we had to move everything out of those two closets and out of the bedroom and out of the bathroom. And it's in my dining room and it's down in my family room, which is where we're sleeping right now. Um, the carpet was ruined. So they tore the walls out, they tore the ceiling out, they had to take the insulation out because it was wet. They had to take the carpet up, they had to pull the mat up. So I have bare floors in there. And it clogged up my HVAC system twice. Had to have it repaired twice because of the dust and everything from tearing out all of the walls and everything. So, do you guys, this is why I haven't been on here. It's been a lot going on, and that's just in my house. So, um, I've never lived anywhere where I had to design stuff myself. So, this has been a little bit of an experience because I have to redesign my bathroom. Pick the paint, pick the tile, pick the shower, pick as if it's a new build because it is a new build. They had to tear the walls out and the ceiling. They've replaced the insulation that we had just had blown in beginning of the year, and it was soaking wet. So it's been quite the experience, and that's why I haven't been on because it's just been a lot going on. Plus, the contractors hadn't been very cooperative in regard to when they were coming and going, and we couldn't get things synchronized until I said, well, if I don't see some more progress and get some more cooperation, you ain't getting no more money. And all of a sudden, everything started getting a little regular. So um, the bathroom is coming together. I don't know how to, I don't think I can upload pictures on here. I just have a very simple um, YouTube program thingy. I don't think I can upload pictures to show you guys, but it's been an experience. It was very hard for us to move all that stuff, a king size bed, and like I said, two deep closets and a whole bathroom and the dressers, and it's just ooh. Anyway. So my house looks like a war zone right now. Um, and tomorrow they're going to start working on the walls again. They've put the walls back in, and now they have to mud and tape or tape and mud or whatever that means and put the ceiling back. Well, the ceiling is back. They blew the insulation back in. Um, and the thing is, it causes so much debris And you figure I've been here for 30 years. The house was built in 47 or something like that. So that's like original insulation. That when they tore out the ceiling, all this original insulation came down. Here's a good thing: the bones of the house are very good. No termite damage, thank God, because we have carpenter ants here, wood eating insects. And you find out what your house is made of when they tear the walls out. And I had a chance to look at the studs and stuff, and they're fine. So thank God for that. Although we did still want them to treat for mold and bugs and stuff, just in case something decided to creepy crawly in. But the weird thing is, oh, and the laundry room, and the laundry room, I forgot about that. So I mean, and then in doing the laundry room, they had to tear the ceiling out of the laundry room. They had to cut away part of the wall in order to take the vanity and stuff out of the bathroom, because my laundry room and my bathroom on my bedroom share a wall. And so they had to tear the wall out because we didn't want them dragging all that debris through the house. We still live here. So take it out that way and we'll just shut the hall door. So that's what they did. But they cut a hole in the wall so that they could take the stuff out. But they would have had to replace that wall anyway because water ran down that wall too. Anyway, it's been a mess. So I started getting text messages and things from some of you guys and emails. You all right? Isn't it time to meet with us again? So that's what's going on. And it was a strain for me to, and let me tell you this. Before we kind of got synchronized with the contractors, who we have a very difficult time talking with because some of them don't speak English at all. And, you know, trying to communicate with them has been a little bit of a challenge. Nice guys, but anyway, because of the conflict in the scheduling and trying to get things in sync, you know, I've done a lot of live broadcasts from our RV. Well, before we came here, we had fully stocked the refrigerator and made sure the cupboards were full and all that, so we wouldn't have to do so much taking stuff down there when we got ready to go back. Well, because we couldn't get our schedule synchronized, we didn't get a chance to get back down there to check on anything until the other day. Well, somewhere between the time we were last there and the time we got back, our refrigerator failed. So we lost all that food. So when we opened up the door, we were greeted by flies and maggots. So that's happening. So anyway, it's been rough. It's been rough. But anyhow, so we thank God our refrigerator, our RV refrigerator is warranted. And so they sent us the unit that goes in the back. If you know anything about RV refrigerators, you know what I mean when I say the unit that goes in the back. The cooling unit. It's not like a residential refrigerator. It's built differently and it's built to run on gas or electric. If your electric goes out, then your gas, your propane automatically kicks in to keep the refrigerator cool. Or you can just have it set to one or the other. Anyway, but the cooling unit itself went out. So we lost all of that food. And needless to say, the inside of the refrigerator is plastic. So it was holding this odor. When we walked in there, we thought maybe a mouse had died in there. No, because the first thing I do when I get there is I open the refrigerator door to make sure it's still cold. And that's as far as I got. Took me a whole hour to get to the bathroom because I was not going past that thing. It was gross. It was really disgusting. And so I've gone through 5 pounds of baking soda, about a gallon of white vinegar, I think, a mixture or however much it was, a lot of white vinegar, spraying it, letting it sit, spraying it, letting it sit, rinse it off, spraying it, let it sit. And it's not as bad as it was, but we had to take the refrigerator apart and kill off all this larva and all this stuff. Anyway, it's gross. I ain't gonna bore you with the details. It's disgusting. So anyway, it's just been one. I've been trying to keep up with the things that have been going on so that I did come back on here and meet with you guys. I could update you on some things because I really don't know where I left off last. Um, but I want to tell you some of the things that have been going on lately and to remind you of, some things that are coming up. Now you guys know, the joke. I don't even know who's on here because you didn't even say hi. So just at least say hi. My goodness. And where you're signaling from, and click the thumbs up. Thank you kindly. All right. So I jotted down some notes. And as you saw the title, we are on our own. I really hope that you guys have been paying attention to what's been going on. The fires, and all the things that have been going on. We still have trains derailing. We still have plants burning up, food distribution plants burning up. You're not hearing a whole lot about it. They don't want you to hear a lot about it. They just want you to think everything's okay. But everything's not okay, folks. So, and I want to say this, I got a letter from someone who felt like the information that I was bringing to another group of people was, and I'm giving them what I'm giving you guys, what I'm telling you all, the things that I'm finding out and the research, that the things that I've learned in my research, tracking things down and trying to verify things before I say anything about it. She felt like it was boring. I said, well, thank you. That was the end of that, because I'm not wasting my time with people who want to believe that Biden economics is the best thing that ever happened to us. So anyway, so when I said we're on our own, I mean that. I have spent a lot of time trying to prepare people for the things that I saw coming down the road. Now, I could go back as far as 2 years and remind you all that I said there were going to be food shortages and things, because you could not shut down an entire planet like this where there's no equipment running. There's no one harvesting fields. There's no equipment harvesting fields. There's no one moving stuff into the distribution centers. The ships are all docked out in the Pacific. You can't do that for nearly a year or 2 years and think that there's not going to be repercussions for doing that later down the road. You can't have all these severe weather events that destroy food crops and destroy homes all over the world. This is all over the world. This is not just happening in the United States. 2 days ago, Atlanta had weird flooding. Libya just had horrific flooding. I think they opened up a dam. China has had horrific flooding going on because they opened up a dam to save a city. They killed over 20,000 people just to save the capital city. That's how much they care about their people. Okay. I tell you, it's like you got to laugh to keep from crying, because this stuff is so evil. It is so evil. It's just, you just can't even get your head around it. I don't know what these people are thinking. I don't even know if they're people anymore. I think they've so given themselves over to evil till they've lost their humanity, honestly. So if it doesn't make sense, if you can't get your head around it, it's because you might still be human. The rest of them are crazy. But anyway, so I thought about the letter that I got from this woman, which I thought was very, very ignorant. So I wasn't going to dignify it with my time. But anyway, I thought about her and people like her who they're so silly and immature at that age that you're not going to get through to them. They think everything is wonderful because it's not affecting them yet. And there are some people that it's not affecting them the way it's affecting other people. But let me tell you something. I have been looking at a lot of videos and seeing a lot of reports of people that are just turned into the streets. These people are being evicted. And I told everybody last year, I said the moratorium on evictions is going to expire. And I think it did last November. And I said the first quarter of next year is going to be a hot mess. They're going to be turning people into the streets and it's going to be bad. Hold on just for a second. Can you go shake that, please? Anyway, so people like her, this lady, you're going to have family members, you're going to have friends that just don't want to hear it. They don't want to believe it. They don't want to hear it. Can you put a top on there? They don't want to hear it. They don't want to believe it. And I think a lot of that is rooted in fear because they're afraid. Then they think that somehow you're trying to do something to them. You're trying to make them afraid. Listen, ain't nobody paying me to try to teach other people how to cushion themselves against hard times. So, the only thing I can say to those people is you have every right to be stupid if you want to be. The rest of us, yeah, we're not going to do that. So, if your family doesn't want to hear the truth, it's sad, but it happens, and there's nothing you can do about it except pray for them that their eyes will be open, and that sometimes people just need a hard landing. They really need to fall hard before they realize that they're not exempt from the craziness that's going on, but they can cushion the blow. They can prepare themselves against hard times. So they don't want to hear the truth. I'm fixing to give you some truth. Here's some truth. A couple days ago, the country of India put out an announcement that they have stopped all exports of rice. All exports of rice. They are not shipping anything else out of their country. Now, a couple of months back, they had stopped shipment of everything except their basmati rice. Now they're not shipping anything. They have had horrible flooding there, bad weather that have wiped out some of their crops. And what they're doing is they want to make sure that they have enough for their own citizens. There's a revelation. Take care of your own, right? So if rice is a staple in your household, you want to make sure that you go to the store and get what's there, because what's there is all there's going to be this year. Now, they didn't say when they were going to start exporting again. They just said they're not exporting anymore for the rest of this year. So, and I believe that they've stopped shipment worldwide. And so this is really going to affect a lot of countries where rice is their staple. China grows a lot of rice as well. They haven't said that they're not going to ship any, but I think India is the largest exporter, I believe, of the two countries. And so a lot of the African nations may get their rice from India. And this is something because they're in droughts and floodings on that continent as well. And there's a lot of I'm sorry. You know what? I don't know why it is that every time I decide I need to do a live recording, it's like having little people in the house. But anyway, I'm going to kill my husband. Are you finished? That's good. Anyway, I guess I'll let him live. He says he's finished. Anyway, um, and then the things that have been going on with the banks. Uh, did you hear about that? Because I did tell you. Didn't I tell you? I told you, take your money out of the banks. Try to use a credit union. Do something different, but don't leave it in there. And there are banks, specific banks, that keep showing up in the news. Mm-hmm. They just keep showing up in the news because of their criminal practices. And so now they have, this isn't new. They were doing this last month, a couple months back, a couple of years ago. I just found out about it a few months ago that they were doing this in other places. Excuse me just for a second. Okay, I'm back. So they have been shutting down people's accounts, especially their business accounts and stuff, their personal accounts, and just destroying their lives and not giving them a reason. Nothing. Just, you know, just severing the business relationship. And they don't care if you have 5 or 6 accounts with them. They just sever the business relationship. Um, yeah, it's not a good thing. And then you have other banks that have decided that they're just going to terminate different aspects of lending. Bank of Montreal has put out a statement that they are no longer doing auto loans. There's so many repossessions of autos and all this that they're not loaning out any more money for any more cars. Just we're done. They're shutting down that part of their business. There's another bank. I had never heard of this bank until today, but it's called M1 Bank, and they're based in Chicago, and they have 2 more branches somewhere else, but I can't remember now where they are. They're closing all checking accounts. What in the world? How are people supposed to pay their bills unless they have automatic draft? Well, maybe that's what it's all about. They want everything to be digital. Everything. They want everything run through the computer. If you're writing checks, well, that's still like fiat currency. It's like paper money, right? So they said they are closing all checking accounts. Now, I had never heard of that bank, and I just got that report yesterday, I think it was. And another thing that's going on, and I saw a YouTuber, I can't think of his name, but he owns a coin shop. And just out of the blue, and the man has been following all the regulations, everything is in order, no problems, nothing. They shut down all of his accounts. He deals in gold and silver and coins and bullion and stuff like that. They just shut him off. They just cut him off. Just cut him off. Said they didn't want to do business with him anymore, and never gave him a reason. So, and then after they did that to him, we found out that there were like several others that they have done this to. They just shut off the business. No reason, no explanation. The workers aren't allowed to disclose the reason, even if the reason is in the records. They won't tell them, and they're surmising. These owners are surmising it's because coin shops deal a lot in cash. When someone brings in a gold coin or a silver coin or whatever, and they're selling it because they need the cash for whatever reason, well, that shop has to have the cash on hand to do business. And because they want us to be a cashless society, they make it hard for you to do business in cash. They don't want you to do so. If they can't stop the individual person from using cash, they'll shut down businesses that have a high flow of cash in and out of their business. So That's what we're surmising, because they don't want people using cash anymore in a lot of places. There are places in Canada where they've shut down every branch of a particular bank. And what they have is a mobile unit that'll go around the town like once a month, or once every 2 weeks, something like this. And if you want to do any banking business, it's all digital. And you go up on this little bus and do your business. And it's mobile banking. They drive from town to town because they have shut down all of the branches. And so, you know, the world is going through changes, and ain't nobody trying to help you. Okay. This is why I said we are on our own. You have got to learn how to do some things for yourself. Um, I had a family member a couple of years back say, I sure hope the government steps in and does something. Well, they did. How you like this? So, anyway, so you should be asking yourself, what do I need to do? Because as long as they're taking steps and moving things in a direction like this, then it's going to impact you and your family and your life. And to be quite honest with you, we're this far down the road. We're nearly 4 years into this nightmare. And if you're still trying to convince people that they need to do something to protect themselves and their families, stop talking to them. I'm serious, because they're either willfully ignorant or they're too afraid to get up off their behinds and do something. And all they're going to do is make excuses for why they're not doing something. You don't have time for that. You do not have time for that. This is very serious what is going on. People are literally dying in the streets because they've lost their jobs. They can't go back to work. Now there's all these rumors they're going to try to shut us down again. You better learn how to say no, okay? Or they're going to have you like a puppet on a string. Every time they crack their whip, you're going to jump and say, how high? Well, there are some people that just ain't going to live like that. And I suggest you try to be one of them, or your life is going to be turned upside down, and they're just going to have fun making a fool out of you and watching you jump every time they crack the whip and every time they come up with some new boogeyman, to make you do what it is they want you to do, because what they want is complete control of your life. That's what they want. That's why they don't like cash. That's why, and they're trying to destroy the dollar, the world reserve currency. It's not even real money. It's a promise to pay is what it is. It's a debt instrument is what it is. And so I don't care what they do with it, quite honestly. You need real money. You need God's money. And if you ain't sure what that is, yeah, call me. I'll tell you. Or send me an email. But you have to take care of yourself and your family. And I still don't know. You guys, make sure you put down in the chat box where you're signaling from. And make sure you do thumbs up, because I'm looking at the number of people that's on here and the thumbs up ain't matching. So anyway, so I think it's important that you keep a perspective. When I come on here and I do these live broadcasts, I'm not trying to make anybody afraid. There's nothing to be afraid of. But you do need to be informed, and you do need to be wise about how you're living your life right now. And I think one of the most important things that you can do is get out of debt, if at all possible. Don't owe anybody anything. Hello, Helen. Don't owe anybody anything. You're going to have to restructure your finances. I don't care if you're doing well right now. You may not be this time next month, right? This current administration is talking about revamping Social Security. What does that mean? They've been after that for a long time, okay? They've been after Social Security for a long time. They want to take more of it away. They want to cut it down, pare it down. And let me tell you something else. When you think about all of your tax dollars, if you're still working, or all of your hard-earned money that has gone to Ukraine, I mean, billions upon billions upon billions of dollars. They burned down an entire island. An entire island. They burned down an entire island. And they want to give those people $700 per family. I mean, they have nothing except the clothes on their back that they escaped with. And some of them had to run into the sea to keep from burning to death. And the thing is, 2 weeks, and I heard this from a resident of Lahaina, 2 weeks before this happened, there was a protest of sorts at a town hall meeting because they wanted to turn the island into a smart island. And the people were like, no, this is sacred ground. Our ancestors are buried here. This is holy ground. We want to keep it. This is our land. And all of a sudden, the whole thing burned to the ground. This is the level of evil that we are living with. Okay. And so I couldn't give a rip as to who thought I was just blowing smoke, or who thinks, oh, it's just boring, or who thinks, oh, you're trying to scare us. Please go somewhere else and be somebody else and get off my channel. Thank you very much. So, hi, Margaret. You have to take care of yourself because you're on your own. Now, you may, and here's the thing. There could be people that are of like mind around you. God bless you if you have that. That's great. Maybe you can put your heads together and figure out, what skills do you have? What skills do they have? How can you all help each other? How can you trade with each other, teach each other what you know? You may know something that they don't know, right? And so you're going to have to learn to live differently. And this is what I've been saying for a long time. And I know it's kind of like, beating a dead horse, but the further we get down the road with the madness, the more serious it becomes. And the longer you wait to do something about it, the deeper the straits are going to be that you're going to find yourself in if you don't do something about it when you know about it. That's the thing. So I just wanted to, catch you guys up on what had been going on here, why I had not been on. I don't know when I'll be on again. I tried to hurry up. I had planned on being on last night. Usually I try to come on Friday. And a matter of fact, I think when I put the thing out, I said Friday and it's actually Saturday. I just put the notice out because I knew I had time. Yesterday, I had planned on doing it and it didn't happen. So there you go. So like I said, there's been a lot going on, and in the middle of trying to keep up with international events and the different groups that I talk to once a month, it's just been a lot going on and my hands were full. So you also need to keep in mind that this is an election year coming up. We have a senator that vacated his seat at the beginning of the month, and we have 4 people that are running for his seat. 2 of them asked for me to give them space to speak to one of the groups or 2 of the groups that I'm in charge of. So I'm doing a candidates forum this coming Tuesday, and 3 of the candidates are able to make it, and one of them is not able to make it because of scheduling conflict. But I'm going to have them come, and we've invited the public, as many as can come. Our precinct is hosting it. And we're going to see what they have to say. I'm asking them some very questions that came in from some other people. I sent out a letter and I asked people to send me questions that they wanted to ask the candidates, because I'm not going to have cross talking. It's not a debate. It's not going to be like what you see on television where they start arguing with each other. They can't address each other. They talk to me or they talk to one of the other moderators. The audience has already been instructed before they come, turn your phone off. Don't sit in my meeting or something like this and your phone is ringing or your radio is going off or some other craziness going on and you're just disturbing the whole room and everybody's attention is on you and they didn't come to hear you. Okay, so just don't be rude. Um, so there's that. I've asked everybody silence your phone, and the audience will not be able to ask them questions because they've had 2 weeks to send in whatever questions they wanted to ask of whichever candidate they want to ask it. And that's to keep order in the room. So there's only two people talking at any given time. That's me and the candidate who's answering the questions, or the other moderator and which other candidate has been asked the question. And the other people get to sit there and listen because they've had plenty of time to get their questions in. They had a deadline of the other 2 days ago. So we'll see how that goes. They're going to have the election next month on, well, the primary is October the 10th. So we'll see what happens. But, I tell people, choose wisely, listen closely, and choose wisely. And listen to the people that are around you. What are they saying? What are they talking about? What type of candidate do they support? Because I'm telling you what I know. People will stand right next to you. I had it happen, okay? Stand right next to you and vote against your constitutional rights as if they're not living in the same country with you. As if whatever they vote against you won't apply to them too. I mean, this is how bizarre people are in their thinking. They think they're in some kind of an elitist club, and whatever they vote, that's for those people. It's not going to affect them. It's stupid. Anyway, when you go to vote, you need to do some background checking. There's a candidate that did a couple of interviews a couple of years back, and one was with our mayor, and the other one was on our local news, toward voting for this person until I saw those interviews. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so I know what this person was about. What they don't know is they're going to be asked about this at this forum. I'm going to ask them what their position is on this now, on these issues now, and see what they say and remind them of what they said then. And then ask them what changed. Why did you change your mind? If in fact they changed their mind. Now, if they lie, then I'm going to say, well, on this date, on this interview with this person, I quote, this is what you said. Okay, so this is what you have to do, because people are tired of liars getting into these offices. They want to smile at you and court you and do all this kind of stuff and ask for your vote and ask you to drop out of a race and do all kinds of stuff. And then when you do that for them and you do all kinds of things to help them, they want to act like they don't need you no more. They don't know you. You're a problem. Or they don't want to hear anything about you. They don't want to hear anything from you. You're a problem now. We have a chairman that's doing that in our state. He doesn't want to hear anything from anybody. He doesn't answer his calls. He doesn't do. It's like, wow. And it's really sad because for a lot of years, I mean, I didn't really know him, but for a lot of years, I just heard good things about him. And I know that people had a lot of respect for him. And then when he got into that office, I don't know what it is about chairmen when they get into those offices. But anyhow, when he got into that office over the state, well, he just he flipped the script, and he's got a lot of people disappointed. He doesn't return calls, nothing. So I don't know what's going on with that. I think it's a shame. A lot of people are disappointed, and but that's the way it is. So when I do this forum, like I said, I'm going to be telling people, you listen carefully and you choose wisely and do your own research, do your own digging into these people and see interviews. What interviews have they done in the past? What did they say then about the topics and the subjects that are important to you? And what are they saying now? And if they changed their mind, why did they change their mind? And you really have to look for things like, I call it double speak. For example, the Affordable Care Act. And I mentioned this before. The Affordable Care Act had very little to do with what Americans could afford. Okay. The American Rescue Act had nothing to do with helping Americans. It had everything to do with Americans rescuing Ukrainians. Okay. That's the American Rescue Act. We were rescuing other people. It had everything to do with the borders being wide open and rescuing everybody. It was a whole, last I heard, it was over 120 nations that have crossed our border unchecked. Nobody knows who these people are. And then you have these sanctuary cities and sanctuary states. Now they want to cry and boo-hoo and act like they're being so hard done by. But when the last administration was in office and he wanted to stem the flow at the border and have them come in legally, they wanted to make it a racial issue. They wanted to make it, they wanted to act like that something was wrong with him for wanting to be able to vet the people that were coming in. Oh, you're racist. Oh, you don't have love. You don't have compassion. And now these same sorry mayors and sorry governors are crying the blues because the Texas governor said, well, you voted for this. You got on the national mic and you got on your state mic and you told people that the last administration was racist because he wouldn't let them in. Okay. If you can take care of them, you take care of them because our state can't. We're struggling trying to take care of our own people with all of these businesses shut down and all of these jobs shut down and all this. We'll just bust them to you. And now they want to cry the blues about how many people are coming into their state. New York talking about it's going to destroy the state. The guy got on the microphone 2 years ago saying everybody was welcome. Come one, come all. We're not going to turn anybody away. And then just the other day, if this keeps happening like this, New York is going to be destroyed. But you voted for that. You wanted that. So just, put on your big boy pants and deal with it. You wanted it. So some of us knew better. Some of us knew that one state can't take in 120 nations, without funding or whatever, and now they want to cry the blues about it. All these little sanctuary cities, it sounds good until it becomes a reality, and you really can't give the whole world sanctuary. Here's a question. How come these people ain't protesting in their own country? How come they ain't making their own governments take care of them? Huh? They're citizens of other nations. And so why are they not dealing with their leadership in their own nation? Why are they coming here making demands and doing it illegally? And I'm speaking as a person who went through the process to legally enter another country. My husband went through the process to legally enter this country. So I'm not trying to hear all the little song and dance about we got to take everybody in. We had to pay. It cost us a lot of money, and we did it the right way. And now Canada can have theirs back. I don't care. If I never go back to that godforsaken place, and that's the truth, I'm sorry. If you're Canadian, God bless you. You better try to get out of there because they get ready to lock y'all down again. Just saying. So, hi, JB. How are you? Hello, Ella from Kansas. I don't think I said hello to you. And Margaret, how are you? Anyway, so you guys, losing my mind again. Anyway, listen, do everything that you can do. I don't know why people think prepping is a bad word. I don't care what you think. Just do it. Okay, to do it. Just do it. Whatever rice you have in the cabinet, that's all you're going to get. That's it. There is no more. There ain't no more coming. And not only that, did you hear about all the ships that are stuck out at sea again? Last count was 135. So I don't know what those ships are carrying. It's cargo. Whatever cargo it was, evidently it was something that we needed or we wouldn't have imported. But it's stuck out there in the Pacific one more time. So there's that. Do what you can do. As you can see, the prices now, like gas, at one point gas was like $5 a gallon or whatever. And then it went down to 480, and everybody thought Biden was doing such a great job because gas went down to 480. Yeah, it was like $1.80 and $2 and something just 4 years ago. Okay. So the fact that it went from $5 to $4 ain't a big deal. And I'll tell you another lie that's being told from the national mic, and that is, hi, Verindia. Uh, we've created over X amount of thousands of jobs this year. Listen, you shut down all of these businesses, caused all of these people to lose their jobs. And then because some of the businesses were able to reopen, you're saying you created jobs. You didn't create those jobs. Those jobs were there already. All right? That ain't nothing new. So listen, when you go to vote, choose wisely, listen carefully, because they full of crap. All right. They just itching ears. You know, the scripture talks about in the last days that there'll be teachers or speakers that have itching ears, you know, and they just speak with silvery, slick tongues, and they appeal to the emotions of weak-minded people who don't have it in them to really listen and compare what a person is saying as opposed to what they are doing. I'm very good at that. I don't care what you say. I watch what you actually do. I watch what people do, especially when they get on the microphone or they're doing interviews or they're doing podcasts or whatever it is they're doing. And they're talking about how great things are and how wonderful they've made things and what a success they are. And I know behind the scenes that they're lying because I am behind the scenes and I see what they're doing, which is more than likely nothing. You know, everybody else is doing it. Everybody else might be making that person look good, but they're not doing nothing because they're not capable and they're not competent, you know? So when you vote, choose wisely, listen carefully, look for the catchphrases, look for things that appeal to people's emotions. But what does it really mean? I remember several years back, there was this huge bill that was being proposed, and the Speaker of the House said, well, you have to sign it before you can read it. Who does that? Who does that? She didn't even want Congress to know what was in the bill and what decisions were being made on behalf of the American people before they just signed off on it. And you know what it was? A whole bunch of pork, a whole bunch of stuff for special interests, a whole bunch of stuff that did absolutely nothing for the American people. And the congressmen were told they had to sign it before they could read it. They had to agree to it before they even knew what it was. This is how twisted this government is and has been for a long time. So you better do your own homework, I'm telling you, because they will lie to you. They've been lying to you and they're going to keep lying to you because that's what liars do. That's what they do. I don't care what they say. I watch what they do. And I will not personally give my time or support to anybody that I think is a fraud or a charlatan or a liar or a weak leader. I'm just not going to do it. So I ain't doing it. I'm not doing it. They won't have my vote. They won't have my support. I said it. I meant it. Watch me live by it because that's exactly what's going to happen. So anyhow, all right, you guys. Oh, y'all doing all right? I hope y'all all right. I think I covered everything I wanted to say. let me check my notes. Yep. I covered everything I wanted to say. So I so appreciate you guys hanging out with me. And like I said, I don't know when I'll be back on here. I'm gonna try. They're trying to get finished with all the knocking and banging and carrying on. And that was another thing. I wasn't able to do it because there was so much noise, drilling and sawing and electric, all these machines and things going. Um, so I don't know when I'll be back, but I will try to send out a notice, even though this one was a little bit late coming out. And I think I put Friday, and anyway. Thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. I hope everybody is doing okay. Get out of debt. Keep prepping. Store as much food as you can. It's going to get very, very tight next year. And we're almost into the fourth quarter. So, um, and with all of the bad weather and the flooding and the fires and distribution problems and rumors of them shutting down the planet again and all this, if they do that, nothing's going to be moving, folks. And this is why when you start hearing stuff like that, you have to prepare. And that includes your medicine. Winter is coming. If you need to, go to thrift stores and look for wool blankets and things like that. What happens when everything gets shut down? Let me tell you something that happened. Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas got hacked. Who hacks a casino? I don't know. Anyway, literally, they got hacked. You know what happened? And the hackers were of this mindset. They threatened to shut down their email transmission in Caesar's Palace. Well, Caesar's Palace didn't take it seriously. And the hackers were like, oh, you don't think we can do it? They shut them down. They literally shut them down. I mean, they couldn't do any transactions. Everything had to be done by cash because their whole system went down. All right. So we're dealing with war on all kinds of fronts: education, cyber, food, supplies. We're being hit. It's a hydra. We're being hit in all different directions. Every sphere of life you can think of, we're at war with someone about something. And so you have to take care of yourself. You are on your own. And the only thing you have is other people like mine and God, him first. Okay. Because when the other people of like mind get tired of you, God doesn't sleep and he doesn't slumber. So there's always Jesus. Okay. But anyway, you guys take care. I will see you the next time I come on. I hope you take seriously the things that I said. I know that you do, or you wouldn't keep coming back. So I appreciate you spending your time and hanging out here with me. Thank you so much for that. And you guys be blessed. And I will see you the next time I come on. Take care and keep prepping. Keep prepping.